everyone. I am all kind of happy today. Why? Because it is Full Scale Friday. We broke out the Triquetra. You know what that means. It means we're at the end of our week. And I've come to a decision. I know I went on a little bit of a tangent yesterday, but the decision was that I was not going to go to the table. There are a multitude of reasons why I'm not going to that table. And chiefly among them, the one that I really lean on the most is that there are people who are very excited about the upcoming Morgansfort campaign that I'm putting together. Many of them have not created characters yet. I have supplies coming in for sketching out maps and possibly other things. Now keep in mind, I haven't drawn anything in years. We're talking 20 years or better. But I still remember certain things. Certain things from my days in graphic design that have stuck with me. And I've been looking at tutorial videos on YouTube. And the reason I'm doing a lot of this art myself is because I have a little problem. And the problem is this. When Greyhorn goes to, it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be self-published or whether we'll publish it under someone else's banner or something like that. I have absolutely no money to pay an artist, and I don't feel right approaching artists and asking them to do work for free. I know there are some artists, such as John at the Basic Expert channel. He does art and then, releases it like here, it's, royalty-free art. And he did a piece that he released, I think yesterday, which was actually quite good, and I may just use that one since he's already given permission and credit him with it. But anyway, I would like to do a lot of this art myself. I realize it's going to take more work. It's going to take longer to get this all put together. However, I take a little, there's a certain amount of pride that I have for this kind of thing. But anyway, I want to get to the Morgansfort campaign. I also want to create maps, and I'm helping anyone and everyone who wants to get involved create their character, especially for those who've never played Basic Fantasy RPG before. This looks like so much fun, and I can't wait. Anyway, let's start getting down into this bad boy, shall we? Let's find out what our weekend's going to look like. I know what mine's going to look like. Sitting around doing art. Rolling dice. That kind of thing. So, things that are fun for me. I almost turned that over. I don't know why I almost did that. That was rather stupid. Or would have been stupid if I had actually turned it over. But today, your tarot decks. Tarot Grand Luxe by Ciro Marchetti. One of my favorite decks. I love this deck. The artwork is beautiful. And let me tell you, Ciro Marchetti is a prime example of what I'm talking about. There are artists, and they charge very, very, high amounts for their art. But consider this, they spend a lot of time. It's not the materials they use, it's the time. They have to get paid for their time, so I understand those high prices. I remember meeting with a guy in Second Life, and I had a ship that's no longer available, and I was like, I would really love to have this ship updated. And he was going to charge me $1,500 for it. And I told him, well, I've got $3,000. What can you do with that? And he said, no, I'm not charging the Lindens. I'm charging actual US dollars. I was like, whoa, dude, for that kind of money, I'd buy a whole new computer here. I put one together myself. And then he explained it. But he was selling some really good ships for like, $20. I bought maybe like one or two of them. There we go. And then finally our runes. But anyway, Tarot Grand Luxe by Ciro Marchetti. We also have, what was it? Shaman's Dream Oracle. You know, this week has been a week of a lot of self-discovery for most of us. We've healed, we've rested, but we've also had to be diplomats. We've had to come across the aisle for certain things. We've had to kind of settle our own problems. We've had to make peace with ourselves and others. So, what does this weekend look like? Because we are in a waxing gibbous moon, things are building. And who knows, we might be in a half, I think we're probably going to be in a half moon by the time Monday comes around. You know. These moon cycles can get away from you if you're not paying attention, people. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I will be home. I'm working a later shift, so I will be home sometime after 8 p.m. Got to run to the Amazon locker. That's going to take a while, so probably more like after 9 or 10. But if you need me, I'm going to be on Telegram. I'm also on Signal. You can reach me on Gilded. You can reach me at any of the social medias down below. Most of them do not have notifications turned on, so please bear with me. And let's get this bad boy started. Okay, so here we go again. Guys, you saw me shuffle these. It's not many cards, but this one, I'm thinking of that place you go. This is like your happy place. You're going to have to embody everything about that happy place that you go to. When you have that sense of inner peace, what is it that creates that? What is it that really just kind of brings you that calm and that relaxation and like no other? Because that's going to have to be you this weekend. We are currently also being guided by Skadi. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to use myself as an example here, and the example is this. At some point in your life, if you are being asked to compromise, you also have to understand. Remember that artist example I gave you. The artist can create a very beautiful piece of art, but they can also charge very high prices. Why? Because they're charging you not for the materials, but for the labor, for the time that they've put into that. So, there's the compromise. The artist is taking time out of his or her schedule. They're taking that time to create a piece of art for you that is going to live up to your expectations, if not exceed them. And yes, they must be paid for it. There are all kinds of different types of art. There's very simple art, there's very complex art, there's photorealistic art. And some people can do such great things with art that you can look at it and go, yes, that's worth it. Now, personally, one of the reasons I won't go to that card table is because every time I've been asked to compromise, I've gotten either little to nothing for it, or I've gotten something I did not want, that I neither wanted nor asked for. And this has been going on for a very long time. Any of my concerns or apprehensions have been written off, dismissed, and I will not stand for it any longer. At some point, when you have come to the table and you have given up so much, at some point you do get to say, no more. You get no more until, like, okay, let's say this is your starting ground. You're shoved all the way back to here. really, right here is where you should stop. But you have been generous to a fault right here when you say no more. Not until we're back here. Yes, you've earned that right. It's important not to think you can comply your way out of something. And just recently I saw this on Twitter. Well, if you would just shut up, all this would go away. I won't mention the people involved in that conversation, but think about this. Where have you heard that before, or have you? Is that right to you? It's not, is it? So you may have to either withdraw from the conversation entirely, such as what I did, or you may have to push back. But really, we're looking at that sense of inner peace there. And you have to be able to push back to the point where you can say, here's where it's going to be enough. Here's where it's mutually beneficial. If that does not work for you, leave. I will be giving no more. And for our spirit animal, we have a moth spirit. And it says surrender now. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not willing to surrender to the other side just because they've pushed me to get a little peace. So I really am not getting that kind of a message out of this card. As a matter of fact, I've heard this type of term before. This type of sentiment, rather. And that sentiment wasn't about surrendering everything to someone else. This is asking, what is guiding you right now? Are you in alignment with spirit or pursuing something or someone with so much tenacity that it's become a compulsion or an addiction? Are you so intoxicated by a potential relationship or opportunity that you can't think straight? Hard work and dedication are virtues, and love, of course, is a beautiful thing. However, when Moth Spirit appears, it's time to consider if you've gone over the edge in a relentless pursuit. Workaholism, overeating, perfectionism, or addiction to a certainty, or even a person may be your current vice. The form of your addiction does not matter so much as the awareness of the consequences of remaining persistent when moderation is needed. Pointing right at Scotty here. Let go of your excessive energy by channeling it in more than one direction. The fire burns hot, and you do not want to be engulfed by your passion to the exclusion of all of the pursuits that matter to you. Now is the time for surrender and radical acceptance so that your drive does not cause you to flee or fight. Spirit wants you to release your need for certainty and control so that you can relax in a more balanced way of using your moth spirit energy. Banish the shoulds and the musts so that you can enjoy what is as you allow for what might to be. And this is an intense card because it's telling you about your own compulsions. Look around. Look around. How much is the 24-hour fear, paranoia, porn cycle lulled us into that kind of compulsion? We see a certain behavior and suddenly we tense up. We see someone doing certain things and we shake our heads and go, we just want to shake them, right? And that's everyone right now. But what it's telling you is, at some point, things become a little unreasonable. It is time for you to let go of that kind of thing. Yeah. That's a pretty intense message so far. So let's look at the mental. We've got a 9 of Cups. We've got a Tower. Page of Swords. Now that 9 of Cups, I can tell you right now, that's one I love to see. Because that 9 of Cups, that is, boy, that's celebration. That's a toast. We love it when the cups come up, when we're feeling how can I put it, like drinks all around, right? And right now, that's us. Mentally, right now, here we are. It's Friday, bud, let's celebrate. But we got some things kind of coming down right now. And here's the thing. This is what our addictions can do to us. Whatever they are, whatever they look like. But you have to understand that at the base is that solid foundation. As long as there's a solid foundation, you can rebuild. And this is clear and focused thought. You're ready to deal with those challenges. Look at that blue jay right there on his shoulder. See it? And it reminds you to act ethically. So while we may be a little flighty and a little foppish and things, we also need to understand that not only are we acting ethically in our thoughts, in our challenges, when we're dealing with our challenges, but that we also may have renewed energy. Renewable energy, it starts with you and me. Physically, got a Four of Cups here. Now, with this Four of Cups, it's a little different. Normally, Four of Cups seems to be we're a little apathetic. Not necessarily with this one. Because with this one, this is all those gifts with which you've been born. All of those abilities, all those talents. It's time to literally start putting them into use. Like I said, I haven't drawn anything in years, but I'm ready. I'm ready to do it again. You have to begin to focus on what fulfills you, what makes you truly happy. Look at that lady. She's on a swing beneath a tree. She is not in any way down. She is not in any way apathetic. You got that beautiful sunset in the sky. You got little teddy bears all around. Actually, nope, that's a Six of Cups. I'm sorry. That's not a Four. I misread that. That's a Six. One taken uncut, people. I'm even going to let you see it when I screw up. Because I noticed there were like more than 4 cups in here, and I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Oh, it's a Six of Cups. So, let's retrace. This Six of Cups, it's still the same thing. This is about that generosity inside you. Because look at this. You move from that mental abundance to that physical generosity, right? Right here, we've got a Seven of Swords. Now, this can feel like something's been stolen from you. And we're lining up with that Tower like something's been taken from you. There has also been some deception in there. So trust can be broken. But this is on a physical level. This is something that has happened in the real world. This is something that has happened in waking life. So, that's obviously something you're going to have to address. At the same time, this might... nope, never mind. Not might. This card, what I'm seeing with it, is I'm seeing, as I usually do with the Seven of Swords, you may just have to keep some thoughts to yourself. Think about this for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. We live in a world where every thought that humankind has ever been inspired to have is shared on social media. I mean, every single thought. People are closing their minds, but they're opening their mouths. And every single women desire they've ever been inspired to have is being shared. And sometimes it is a little much. I caught myself doing it. I was on Twitter and I was like, hey, whole mushroom straight out of the can. It's a great snack. That's the tweet. That was it. I don't know why I wanted to share that. It was just something I shared. But perhaps it's time we stop sharing a few things. You know, we need to keep some things just kind of to ourselves. That way, we're a little more effective. Sometimes it's best to be the person that they can't read. Even if you're overjoyed about something, you just want to share it with the world. Remember, not everyone shares the same joy as you do. So you might just share it out there and nobody even responds. That can hurt, can it? Because some of us are so addicted to social media that we can't seem to get our asses off of it. And then, aha. I'm not surprised to see this one pop up. And the reason I'm not surprised to see the devil pop up is because we just got done talking about addictions. We're pointing right at that moth spirit card. And it is high time we let go of those addictions. Those addictions can really start screwing things up. They can really start messing things up in the worst kind of way. We could be addicted to thought patterns. We could be addicted to hardline stances. And we could lose everything on some of those. Let's go with Skadi again. If we're going to take such a hardline stance here, no one's going to come over to us. We have to meet in the middle. Somewhere. Now, with that being said, you absolutely cannot negotiate with people who have no sense and will not listen to reason. If you're willing to come here and the other person's not willing to come a single step forward, walk away. Don't pursue it so hard. You will absolutely ruin yourself trying to do that. So like when, I found this out a long time ago. When I wouldn't stop playing Dungeons and Dragons, when I wouldn't stop listening to the music I liked. Oh yeah, it got pretty chintzy sometimes. Now when you won't play a certain way, when you won't say a certain thing, when you won't just say X, oh, you'll find they'll try to ruin you. It happens on both sides, ladies and gentlemen. We are holding on to the extremes of life. We do not need the extremes of people. Because after you've submitted yourself to the extreme, you are subjected to all sorts of little purity tests that will not go away. And eventually, you can just sit back and watch those people kind of eat their own. Again, on both sides. Let's go with the spirit and see what's going on. We have a magician. I love how this is lining up. Look at this. We have that Four of Cups. We have that Nine of Cups. We have a Four of Cups. Celebration, generosity, self-mastery. We have all the elements ready to speak our world into reality. Remember that. What you speak will become reality sooner or later. We have a Seven of Wands. Interesting how this seven, this defensiveness, lines up with that Seven of Swords, lining up with that Tower. All of them kind of pointing at the devil here. But the Page of Swords is being clouded right now by that devil. And then we have Temperance. Here we go. Remember what we said about compromise. Remember what we said about kind of, you take a step forward, I take a step forward. We'll kind of meet in the middle. And where we can't, we just leave each other alone. It does not have to go any further than that. but we've got temperance there. When we temper ourselves just a little, we find that things become not necessarily easier, but they work a little better. They work a little more efficiently. Sorry. Going over here to the Oracle cards, First Breath. So, we're approaching things this weekend with a beginner's mind. We are ready to learn all that we can, right? We are asking the questions, we're picking the brains. We also have Dances on One Foot, which is a balancing act. I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, this entire reading so far is looking like one big balancing act. It looks like a high wire act. And then we have this Overflow, which is overwhelm and plenty. Something to definitely celebrate. This is one of the absolute greatest weekend reads I've ever done. It's awesome. Over here in the runes we have Isa. Now, we do need some time for reflection. We need some time to overcome the obstacles that are in our path. There's only one way to do it. Together. Right? We have Gabo. Gabo is, of course, gift for gift. So, when I tell you in the links below what I will give you if you go and purchase Winifred Hodge Rose's book, Heathen Soul Lore Foundations, or what I will give you if you send me a deck, for example, that is this principle in play at all times. It is gift for gift. Now, I tend to give a little more than I get, because for me, I don't really want or need much. I just want to give you what I think your gift is worth. And your gifts are extremely appreciated. And I know some of you have sent things. And believe me, they're in play right here at this table. So yes, this deck is one someone sent me. Believe it or not, this is another. Actually, you know, I purchased this, but still it was sent to me, and it did contain a little gift. So I was very, very appreciative of this, and I wear it pretty much all the time, except for certain days where I have to do some painting, and those are the days where I wear no necklaces. So, and then we have none other than Ivaz. Ivaz also teaches us transition and growth. Ladies and gentlemen, until we have these hardline stances here, but until we come to this point right here, we don't understand each other, we don't get each other, we don't see where we're trying to be reasonable, we're not flexible. Those that do not bend end up breaking. Oh, hello, Mr. Bub. Sorry, he just kind of patted over next to me. Looks like he just woke up. I know why he just woke up too. But anyway, oops, there we go. He wants pets. But anyway, again, those that do not bend will eventually break. How many branches have you ever found, and you bend it and you bend it, and then there are others that aren't so flexible, they're so rigid that when you try to bend them, they break. Think about that for a moment. Even swords forged from steel. The Norse found this out. Norse blacksmiths made the Ulfbert sword. That was a sword whose blade would bend and come back to true. And the reason for that is, if you stabbed and if you thrust your sword and someone put up a shield with it, it would because it was not meeting with something it could go through. So it had to give you a little bit of a signal to pull it back and change your tactic. So let's change tactics a little bit. Now, for this weekend, personally, if you're interested in joining the RPG, I am more than willing to be available the entire weekend to help you. I would hope that you would like to join. Yes, the group already has several people and a potential player coming in who has a little bit of a piqued interest, has never heard of these RPGs before, so I'm introducing her. We have a pretty diverse cast of very, very fine people, and it was put together organically. Nothing is forced. Everything is up for grabs. But character death is a very real thing, so you might want to roll 2 of them. In any case, I think I've rambled on long enough. Come on and check us out in Gilded. Come join in the game. You never know. Could be fun. I think it will be. I'm excited to get this thing started. I just need to get my players to get their characters rolled. In any case, though we have a few hitches this weekend, we have a little self-work to do, a little self-care, both mentally, physically, and spiritually. Let's take care of those little issues so that we can have the wonderful weekend promised to us in this reading. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up. And as always, shine on.